Hi, this is Eric, your tire expert. So welcome to Mlolongo, the Center for Truck Repairs. And this is where many of the tires in Kenya are fitted and mounted as the vehicles go on their long journeys. So here, I've come to witness the tightening of nuts. As you've seen in my earlier videos, I mentioned about the tightening of nuts as a very important issue in tire management. And so in this case, we're going to see someone mounting the tires and making sure that the nuts are tight. So this is how we go about it. Now, if you come closer, now as we go along, please notice the security features on the truck. It doesn't allow you to come in. It doesn't allow you to go to do anything to the truck. You have to be safe. But what does this have to do with tires? Again, nothing. Let's see what he does in the mountain. So the first thing that they have to do is to make sure that the nuts align. So he has to align the nuts so that the tire can go in safely, one nut at a time. And the method used is the rotation method, as you can see there. So he pulls it up and then now links it into the valve, links the nuts, and then the nuts will all go in one after the other. Okay? If you can come closer and see this. So the nuts are now tight. Everything is tight. Okay? That's good. That's clean. The first thing is that you have to put 4 nuts, 1, 2, 3, 4, to make sure that the wheel is aligned. So that's what he's doing now, making sure that all the 4 nuts are aligned so that the tire is straight on the hub. So once the 4 nuts are tight, then now you know that the axle, the tire is actually straight on the hub. And now we're going to see how the nuts are going to be tightened so that each of them fixes properly on the wheel. So let's tighten all the nuts. So on this lift axle, you have a super single tire, which has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 nuts. And these are going to be tightened so that this wheel cannot come off at any cost. Okay? So once the 4 nuts are tight, and then we put the rest of the nuts on this wheel, so that now we tighten the rest of the nuts completely onto the wheel. And that's the process we're now going to observe. So he's going to fetch a tube that's going to use that is going to use with the wheel spanner. So when the wheel spanner is on the nut, then they're going to have a tube here to make sure that they apply enough torque to tighten this wheel. Okay, so just to make sure it doesn't roll, so the wheel is tight, so just to make sure it's in place now. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the wheel nut talking the African way. This is the wheel nut talking the African way. And so we're going to apply torque using that pipe, okay, and making sure that the spanner gets the sufficient torque to make sure the wheel is as tight as should be. Now we know that tires like this should be tightened at about 650 foot-pounds, okay? 650 Newton meters. So that's what we're going to apply. Now, 650 Newton meters is about 65 kilos on a 1 meter bar. And we can see here it's about a 1.5 meter bar. And now he's getting the wheel tightened and held in place so that the tightening can take place without any problems. Okay, that's the method. As you can see, the wheel is tightening. Now every night is tightening 90 degrees. So he tightens this one, then that one. You heard that? That's the sound of the wheel tightening. Take a record of this. So that's the tightening. Again, the same to the other nut. It gets tightened. Yes. So it's very tight. Perfect. Okay. That's the tightening process. That's tight. Okay? That's as tight as it is. That's how it's made tight. So that nut, then this nut, then that nut. So he's going to repeat this procedure for all the 10 nuts until all of them are as tight as should be, because this wheel should remain in place under all circumstances during every trip after this. And this is how in Africa we tighten our nuts. 650 Newton meters using a 1 meter bar and a gentleman of about 70 kilos. And that's how we get the tightening, as you can see. Record this. Hiyo iko tight kabisa? Hiyo iko kwisha. Okay. So as you can see, it's getting tighter, but there's no sound coming. Same thing to that one. It shows you that it was loose. There you go. So it's achieving the tightness.
There you go.
That's nut tightness right there. So then he goes around them a second round just to double check that they are all tight. So as you can see, it's going back to the ones he had done before. So he has finished the full round with everything tight and cracking. And then now he's going to go around a second time just to reconfirm. So he's almost finishing the second round. So that was the second last one, or rather the third last one. That's the second last one. That's almost completely tight. And then the last one. So much time. Good. And that's it. So that nut is tight and the wheel is tight and it will not come out of place. And that's how we tighten our nuts in Africa. Thank you.